My research is entitled A Novel Artificial Intelligence Tool to Foster Inclusivity for Disabled Individuals in Canadian Job Advertisements. The biggest obstacle that individuals with disabilities face is not their physical or mental health challenges. Rather, the biggest obstacle for these individuals is finding employment that allows them to avoid poverty and lead a dignified and productive life. Individuals with disabilities routinely face discrimination when they apply for jobs. In 2019, the Accessible Canada Act was passed to prohibit discrimination based on physical and mental disabilities. However, despite the rhetoric and well-intentions behind this act, little has changed for disabled individuals seeking employment. Unfortunately, hiring people with disabilities is still considered a charitable act, and no emphasis is given to their education, experience, or potential. Canada is aiming to become barrier-free for disabled individuals by 2040, and therefore it is imperative that we work towards a future in which employment opportunities are equitable for all individuals. To do this, I decided to focus on eliminating disability bias in job advertisements using artificial intelligence to hopefully pave an inclusive path in employment going forward. It's important to acknowledge that individuals with disabilities can in fact work and make meaningful contributions to the workforce. Research has also shown us that disabled individuals are often long-term workers, and many of them have impressive qualifications and experience. This is why, like the rest of us, disabled individuals deserve to find and sustain meaningful employment. Finally, we need to understand that disability is something that pervades all groups in society. Anyone can be impacted by it, and therefore the scope of this work is universal, making it all the more important to address. This work had one primary objective, and that was to develop a one-of-a-kind artificial intelligence tool with the ability to evaluate Canadian job postings for disability biases, and additionally, suggest improvements to enhance the inclusivity of job advertisements. Let me talk to you about my methods now. The first step was to conduct a literature review to identify the words and phrases in job ads that would suggest bias towards disabled candidates. Words and phrases of this nature were then stored in a Python word dictionary. The second step was to collect Canadian job postings from different job platforms. To do this, I built an automated web scraping tool in Python to collect dozens of job advertisements across a range of job descriptions, industries, and positions. The third step was to create the novel AI tool to identify disability bias in job advertisements. I called this tool Inclusion Scan. Inclusion Scan utilizes a combination of different natural language processing algorithms. It is then applied to the collected job advertisements to flag words and phrases that would indicate disability bias. Now, the fourth and final step, which is currently in progress, is training Inclusion Scan to improve job advertisements to be more disability-friendly and inclusive overall. Now, I'm sure you're wondering how Inclusion Scan actually flags disability bias. Well, let me tell you. Inclusion Scan is a unique AI tool in that it is comprised of 4 different natural language processing algorithms that work in conjunction to flag disability bias. The 4 algorithms it uses are tokenization, part of speech, named entity recognition, and semantic search. Together, these 4 algorithms expertly train Inclusion Scan to understand the nuances of human language. As a result, they allow Inclusion Scan to accurately identify bias in job advertisements. Finally, Inclusion Scan is applied to the collected job advertisements. This is really the true test of Inclusion Scan's ability to accurately identify disability bias. All right, so currently Inclusion Scan is accurately able to identify disability bias in job advertisements based on the limited training data cohort that we have created at the moment. It's also important to recognize just how cool Inclusion Scan really is, considering that no other tools exist right now on the market for identifying disability bias in job advertisements. Now, moving forward, it's incredibly important to ensure that disabled individuals feel welcome and appreciated in the workforce. This begins with improving job advertisements to be disabled inclusive. This work is very important to continue, as it'll no doubt be vital in laying the groundwork for improving hiring pipelines and embracing a future of improved inclusivity, diversity, equity, and accessibility in the workforce. Thank you.